So we've had an advisor, a business leader with sustainability and remit, largely an advisor. Now our fourth speaker is a Chief Sustainability Officer. He might feel slightly rounded on at certain stages in the evening so far. So we're going to ask Ian to hopefully make the case for the Chief Sustainability Officer and maybe tell us a bit about what his role involves. But I should give you a bit of introduction. He is in many ways a classic Chief Sustainability Officer. He's an accountant by background, so he's well versed in the vernacular of business. He started at BT in 1998 as corporate treasurer before moving into an operations role. He reports into the strategy MD, who reports into the CEO of Openreach, and Openreach employs 30,000 people, so it's a substantial business, and he sees his role as one of change and transformation. Ian, over to you.
Right, thanks very much. I was very pleased that nobody booed when the word accountant was mentioned, because that quite often happens. Actually, when I first saw the material to introduce this evening, the thing that caught my eye was the thing about getting a red card after 6 or 8 minutes. And the fact of the matter is that from almost any other subject in life, my mind easily wanders onto the topic of football. And you should perhaps view me as the Roy Keane of this evening, and that is therefore the person most likely to get the early bath and get the red card. And I kind of thought, well, that being so, is this something I could say that would get me that red card earlier than the 6 to 8 minutes? And the choice, of course, in football, if you want to get yourself sent off, is either to do something which involved physical violence, and I kind of thought that wasn't really a very good idea. The other thing is to challenge the authority of the referee. So, Jim, I think you're asking the wrong question, and you're asking it of the wrong person. And I'll explain why that is in a minute. But first of all, I want to talk a little bit about Openreach, because a bit like Oscar Wilde, or to paraphrase Oscar Wilde, I have nothing to declare except my experience, and I can only talk about my personal experience, and that in this arena is very much built around Openreach. Openreach is a BT group business. We're very much part of BT. We are the part of BT that runs what we call the access network. That's the network from your home or your business into an exchange. We do it for over 400 operators in the UK, and some of my customers, hello Fiona, and others are in the audience tonight. We do it on an equivalent basis. So we open access to the network. Our name is sustainable, Openreach. And in order to go through a transformation over the last 5 years since that business has been formed, we have had to go through a lot of employee engagement exercises. And again, I'll come back to that in a minute. We also do the physical stuff, okay? We have 30,000 people in the organisation, as Jim said. We've got about 25,000 driving around in vehicles. We have an estate of over 4 million telegraph poles, and so on and so forth. So we do physical stuff. Therefore, the stuff that we do from an environmental perspective matters. It matters to BT, because if we don't achieve it, BT doesn't achieve it. It matters to our customers. It matters in its own right, and it matters to employees. Okay, so it's important. In terms of why I think why I'm the wrong person to answer this, well, as has been noted, I'm an accountant by profession. I am not a dyed-in-the-wool 20-year sustainability professional. I am, however, now a qualified environmental manager and a member of the IEMA organisation, on whose board I sit, and who I can thoroughly recommend to those of you that are not members of that organisation. But I began a journey, as Jim said, through the organisation over a period of some 12 years, in which I started in finance, moved into operational roles, and then moved into a sustainability role. Now, in many ways, I'm not the right person to answer this question because of that background, but in many ways, actually, also I am. And that's partly because what I bring to the role is an experience of having actually been on the other side of the table, having actually done those operational roles, those commercial roles, and I can have the dialogue with those individuals. So that works for me, it works for Openreach. I'm also the wrong person because I'm not a board member. I'm a CSO operating in an operating division of BT. We have a group CSO role, which is a really important role to us. It's outward facing, it's policy making. My role is much more about implementation of policy within one of our key operating businesses. Now for me, the reason why I think it's the wrong question is because the question is not about structure, it's not about title, it's not about role, it's about influence. What matters is what is the ambition of your organisation in sustainable development? Where does it sit now? What are its targets? What are the key criteria that are important for your business in order to drive forward your business strategy? I'm fortunate I sit in the strategy function. That does help. What actually matters is the degree of influence, not the structure, not the title. That's what I think works for me. That's what works for Openreach, and it works for BT. We have a number of individuals in our organisation at part of a matrix network which form part of our sustainability leadership team in the group, and we have a similar model to some of those that were speaking earlier on. And our sustainability agenda is driven at board level, ultimately through our chairman. As I say, that's what works for us, and that's my perspective on it.